Okay, here we go with the official A-Team story. Like I said, once again, we decided that we was gonna make our move on the guy up here named Hector. This is the original 2 buildings in which everything took place. Hector was a Dominican that came out here and started selling a bunch of coke right here out this alley. Us being from the projects all our lives, being here, we decided that nobody was just gonna come in the hood and get a bunch of money without us being a part of it. The first initial contact with Hector came because 2 OGs from my projects named Unique, El Rahim Peanut, and also Bishme from the back. They was coming up here constantly robbing his workers. So how we got in was that we told them that we would protect them. And first he gave us security at night, and then eventually we went from security and decided that we needed more time. And that's when he decided to give us from 2 at night until 7 in the morning. We did that for a little while, and then we decided to take over the whole thing and move it from up here on Fountain Avenue between Belmont and Sutter Avenue down to the projects, which is where I'm going right now. So that was the first official spot that we began to swing coke. Crack wasn't even around at that moment. I'm walking down here toward Sutter and Fountain, with just a lot of bad memories and good memories. This is the 14 bus stop. This is where one of my righteous brothers, true and living God, Supreme Bayallah, was executed back in the 80s. I'll tell you about that story later on. Okay, we're crossing the street right now, getting ready to go back to my projects. As you can see, we're right here on the corner of Fountain and Sutter Avenue, which says, "Welcome to Cypressville Projects." I'm going around the corner. I moved out here in the 60s. My man T and them used to live right there across the street. That big building right there, a cat named Killaboo used to be in there. They was all a part of the Buccaneer Lords, which would be another story. But right here, all along this strip right here, which is Fountain Avenue, going into the projects, we had nothing but a bunch of cars parked out here. Of course, we didn't have the foreigns. It was the mid-80s. But we had a bunch of Lincolns and Cadillacs and all that stuff parked on both sides of the street. As you can see right now, I'm coming into what we call the main entrance of the 18 Fountain Avenue side. Okay? This entrance is important because, like I told you, we was military minded, military trained. So as you can see, the roofs, that's the roof to 335. That's the roof to 305. Those buildings right there, anybody coming in from this entrance, we got you. Because you better believe we up there on those roofs when it's drama. Also, it used to be a laundromat. We used to cut all the lights out in here too, so that was another thing that was to our benefit. But right here, these are the main two buildings right here. 305, 315. Bunch of young guards I taught up in there at that time. K-Shy, Supreme, a few other guards was up in there. All right, Latik, the Lord bless those that rest in power. Another great young guard that returned too early. But anyway, right here is the main building. Understanding knowledge power, which is 315. Oh, I'm goody. I got my girl again. I lost all my footage the other day, and I was so pissed that I lost all my footage the other day, but Allah has blessed me to see my homegirl again, and I had her because I wanted y'all to see that she been growing her nails for over 18 years now, and you know, I wanted to make sure that not only is she one of my homegirls and everything, but to let y'all see these beautiful nails that she got right here. Introduce yourself, sweetie.
Hi, my name is Tina.
Okay.
Cypress.
That's right. 315, the mighty 315, 18 building. She came in a little bit after I was gone, but once I mentioned my name, she said, I heard of you, Shy. All right? And this is a law of will, because like I said, I taped her the other day. I had it all there, and I went to Cook's funeral, and Mary took a picture, and I lost all my footage. So I highly appreciate you once again giving me this interview. I'm gonna get a little bit up close so y'all can see them live. And she don't do this for free, y'all. She's doing this because she's my homegirl. Lovely. I appreciate you, Black Queen, to the fullest. All right? Okay, y'all, I'm gonna take y'all into our first headquarters in 315. The lady used to stay right here. We always thought she was Caucasian, but she was really like an octoroon. Her name was Miss Tenpenny and Mr. Tenpenny. And we made sure nothing ever happened to them, because they was the last of the old, you know, white people that would stay here. But as she got older, a lot more of her original features started to come out. So I'm gonna take y'all around the corner to the first joint. What's good, y'all?
What's good, YouTube?
All right. This right here is our first headquarters. Old man, Mr. Charlie, first floor apartment. We used to operate out of here. Of course, I'm not gonna give y'all everything, all right? And everybody that was in the building, matter of fact, Knowledge used to live back there, but this building was full. Arif's house, all the guards, everybody came from everywhere, you know what I'm saying, to visit them. We love you, Mom, Marlene, Vet, everybody. All right. I'm gonna take y'all to the first place where we made our decision. Right over here. See, it's always foundation to everything you do. Right here was where the decision was made. Me, Goldie, 163/Waco, and I'm gonna say Iggy, we decided the foundation to the reason why the A-Team was formed. We formed it based upon that we was tired of other individuals coming into our community and getting rich and never giving nothing back to the community. Of course, there's no justification for the destruction, the violence, and everything else that took place during that drug era, but we did have a foundation. And we was doing it because we was gonna get the money and buy back our community. Buy back the stores, the same bodegas, Chinese restaurants, nowadays smoke shops with other individuals or other nationalities that came here, unfortunately, not like us as slaves, but, mixed, migrated into our communities and took advantage of properties and getting commercial stores and everything else. So we decided that we wasn't going to allow that to go on no more with this new, way of making income, not attached to the Italians or anybody else. We were supposed to make that money and buy back the community, buy back the grocery store, buy back the Chinese restaurant, buy back the cleaners. But unfortunately, like on everything else, we got what you call individualism. And once that set it in, then the gold chains, the luxury cars, and of course, the woman always gonna bring a lot of problems. I'm pointing back to this grass. I remember one time they threw a lady off the roof butt naked, and she laid in the grass for hours butt naked until we went and got, a cover to cover her up. Right here on this bench is where I did a lot of my building, a lot of mathematical builds. And what's so ironic about right here, this is the only place that when the Father, Allah, came here to Cypress Hills back in the early 60s, that this is the bench that he sat on. But right now, I'm walking toward my building, these two buildings over here. See, these 4 buildings are so important because from when I was a little dude, this always was a special place in the project. And the reason why I say that is because my OGs always raised us not to rob, hurt, or maim anybody that was in our community. So you couldn't just come over here and rob ladies, snatch pocketbooks, or do anything like that. Because if you did, you had a serious beef. Okay, that's 335 Fountain Avenue. Once again, another fortress taking y'all up because we could see not just this side, but we could see from the other side. So like I said, anybody that we had any conflicts of interest with, we was always able to strategically, place ourselves in position where it would be awfully hard for you to get in to be able to do anything. Okay, right up there was my apartment for over 28 years. I lived in Guard of Law apartment, 7A. Matter of fact, when I moved out, my cousin moved in. But once again, we can see anything coming from the park, anything coming from the middle of the project, and definitely anybody that's trying to approach us from the Blake Avenue side. Because like I said, when there was any type of drama, we was always up on the roofs, fully prepared for it, fully prepared of any entrances that you could come in at all times. This is 345 Fountain Avenue. Came in here in 1976. Peace, young brothers.
Peace, bro.
All right. You know, we'll take you in here, take y'all upstairs for just a minute. Back in the days when I would come in here, I already got my, hammer in my hand and ready. So as you see, this is long hallway. They have the back entrance, so if anybody came over the roof, they could be laying for you. And as soon as you jump in the elevator, they'll jump out of here, which is the back exit, B. So you always had to be prepared at all times. As you can see, once again, you see all the slabs, the concrete. This is why it's not that hard that once we get enculturated to adjust, because they built the projects already like miniature prison houses. Just think about it. You got about almost the same amount of room. Before we had a door, going upstairs to the 7th floor. I used to ride on the elevator. Matter of fact, my man that I talked about, Jimmy Harris, Gangsta It, from the back, he fell down on the elevator shaft back in the days, riding the elevators. But like I said, I wanted to take y'all, we used to play four corners in here. This is where we first learned how to fight and box, protect yourself. When we get in the elevator and we scream corners, you know what I'm saying? And then you got to get it on. And whoever get caught in the middle, it was getting tore up. Once again, this used to be a door, okay? This is my infamous apartment for 28 years. And then my cousin moved in, Sally, who the cat Chris on Triple Beam talks about my cousin Butchie, that unfortunately, they said it was an accident in the same building that we hustled out of 315. And he died of a bullet, an accidental bullet to the head. At least that's what was said. At 7B, people, Mr. and Mrs. Sally White, they was there when I got there. They lived there for years. And then they moved out. And a cat named T moved over there with his family. And it's either T or his wife that was related to Mark Jackson. Yes, Mark Jackson used to come here in Illy Hills, Cypress Hills. I seen him, he know I have, when he played for St. John's. He had the white basketball jacket on with the red and white. Okay. Caucasians living here. Then the lady, Miss May, moved in, and her husband, Angelo, was white Italian. He used to still work for TSS. He used to always bring me home a bunch of toys, that he liberated from TSS. My man Junie and Keithy and them, they family lived there. Miss Johnson. after my man Freddie, Yasmin, and Yvette, they moved out in the early 70s. Then my OG, Limpy, Donnell Ford, Ketch, his brother, his sister Priscilla, and their little brother, Fonzie. At the same time, they formed the Buccaneer Lords because we was a little bit younger. We formed the Sons of Dads because at that time, you had a supermarket across the street. First it was called Warbounds when we moved out here. And then it changed to Dad Spring. So I'm walking y'all through, you know, like I said, the brief history of how the infamous 18 allegedly accused of shooting Tupac at Quad Studio with one of my main comrades that they need to cut loose, King Tut. The only reason he in there because y'all wanted to put pressure on him to snitch on Puffy, like Puffy had something to do with Tupac getting murdered or shot that night. Not murdered, because that happened afterwards. We just talk about the 5 shots at Quad Studio. All right, so I'm coming out my building. I got so many stories for y'all. I can't tell them all at one time, but we will at least make this part 1.